way, Sarah?
Yes,
Stop.
you stop streaming.
Okay.
So. Okay, so it looks like we're online. Hi,
Are we
everyone.
online?
We're getting set up where it's a little bit different. So let us know if you can see and hear us. So if you can see and hear us, let us know because we have a little bit different setup than we normally have.
And we can't respond to you in typing.
And we can't respond to you in typing. So yes, if anybody's out there, let us know that you can see and hear us. Hi, Sarah and Sue. Yeah, and we also can't see who's saying it. So here comes my son bringing an ingredient. So anyways.
Hey, thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Hey,
Okay.
Josh is on camera. Come here. Come here. Come here.
This
See?
is my
Josh
my
is on
youngest.
camera. Look at
And
and Winnie's on camera too.
And Winnie's here too. So, all right. So
All
we're
right.
going to get going. Mom and I are going to switch spots. Josh is going to go home and Winnie's going to beg
Thanks
for
for the
treats.
Parmesan, Josh. Bye.
Okay. So, Mom, let's switch spots.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Whew. Okay. Hi, everyone. Sarah here from the Paper Cut. Tonight we are doing family traditions. Now, this recipe, it's called Pepperoni Bread. It started years ago with my parents doing it, and they did a lot of them.
One time we even did 90 loaves in one day.
Oh my God. And that is crazy. The most I've done in one day is probably 15. And I know my brother does a whole ton too, but he has 3 triplets and a son and a wife to help him. So they have 6 people. So anyways, they started this years ago and I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to share the recipe. So I don't know, about 15 years ago or so, my daughter was in ice skating and we did a cookbook. So I shared the recipe in a cookbook. So it was actually printed.
You want to know another secret?
Sure.
I gave it to my cousins in Atlanta and in Texas, and they've printed it in a cookbook too. And your dad always invited people into the cafe and let them cook with him. So we shared it freely.
Yeah. So anyways.
But the boys think it's a secret.
Yeah, my brother, when I shared it in the cookbook, he was super mad at me. So anyways, but we're sharing it with you tonight for our family traditions. It's so close to Christmas that I figured I'm not going to do card making. I wanted to share something to celebrate the holidays with all of you.
A gift of knowledge.
So anyways, we can't, we're not set up the same, so we can't reply by typing. So my mom's going to read any of the
And we don't know who's...
questions to me, and she can't always see who the usernames are. I think she can sometimes. Sometimes it just says Facebook user, and sometimes it'll actually give us your name. So if you're baking along with us, let us know if you have a question, and we'll just read them. My mom will read them out loud. So let's go through the ingredients, and I'm just going to hold them up for right now. We have the white bread dough, roadies, and I thawed mine. It's thawed.
Merry Christmas to you too, Facebook user, whoever you are.
We have pepperoni, which you can use turkey pepperoni if you want to. We have Swiss and mozzarella, and these were slices. In my recipe, I altered it a little bit, so I always just use mozzarella in mine, but my mom and dad, the original recipe was mozzarella and Swiss. And you use half a package per loaf. And then we also have Parmesan cheese, and I'll give you the measurements as we go. And I'm also going to do this twice, okay? So if you're working along with me, I'm going to actually make 2 of them because I want to show you 2 different ways to roll them out. Garlic, which I use garlic salt. My mom just has granulated garlic. Parsley flakes. So parsley flakes. Italian seasoning. My Italian seasoning is normally green, flaky stuff, but my mom picked some up the other day and it's more of a reddish color, so we're not sure why. And then black pepper. We also have, I brought a rolling pin. I brought my rolling pin, my heavy duty rolling pin. We have a couple eggs that we need.
2 eggs per loaf.
2 eggs per loaf. And then we just have, things to mix in. I have a fork. We have our measuring spoons, a measuring cup. So we're gonna get going first. And Mom, I don't know if you want to put us down to the table.
All right.
I think you can just bend that.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
So I've got like the cheeses and the pepperoni just laid out just so it's easier. So I'm going to set this off.
Hey, you
to the
have to
side.
know something though. See that board that Sarah's working on? That's a temporary board over my sink, and I have it Velcroed to the sink. And Sarah's a little concerned about.
I've
how
never
the-
rolled on like a board like this, so I'm a little bit worried about it. And I did wash my hands already. So first is the 1 egg. And the garbage. And you're just going to kind of beat that. Then we have our Parmesan cheese. And for the Parmesan cheese, it's 1/2 cup. So you're going to add that. Now in the one cookbook that I did, I actually have the Parmesan cheese as an ingredient, but I forgot to say where to actually add it in. So yeah, that was a little blunder in the cookbook that I did. So the 1/2 cup, then we have 2 tablespoons of parsley. And I always heap stuff. I don't know if my mom and dad heap stuff or not, but I tend to
I'm a
heap.
heaper.
And then we have the Italian seasoning.
I know that bread is hard to find right now. I don't know why, but
So the recipe calls for a 1/2 teaspoon. I always put 1 full teaspoon in mine. So like I said, I alter a few things. And then the recipe calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and garlic.
now that I don't personally.
My mom
heat
puts in
1/8 of a
an
teaspoon.
eighth. I still put in my 1/4. So, and that's that. Oh, the garlic, that's the one thing. Now usually the bread loaves come in a 3-pack or a 5-pack, and I'll thaw them out and I never buy the 3-pack, I always buy the 5-pack. And I make them all at the same time. Or, I roll them all. So anyways, you're gonna mix this up. Now the directions don't call for this, but my mom shared this secret with me last Christmas, that she adds a little bit of water to
Just a splash.
this, because it's a little bit denser consistency and it gets easier to spread, which we're gonna do. Hang on, a little bit of water.
Could you please post the ingredients in the recipe? Yeah, we're going to post that later so that you can print it out.
So yeah, it's not going to be posted right now while we're doing it, but we will post it later. So anyways, we have this.
And it's okay if it's a little runny. See,
Yeah, it's a
when
little bit
Bogey and
runny.
I are doing it, Bogey does the rolling and I do the mixing. And I'm sometimes 2 ahead of him. So I tend to put a little bit more water in it
Okay.
and let it sit.
So then for our bread loaves, mine are thawed. I have 2 of them in here, and they get kind of sticky and hard to get out of there. So I do like a scissors and I kind of cut that open. Depending on how long you thaw it, like if I thaw this on my countertop overnight, sometimes this package is exploding. Okay, this one I pulled out at noon and I've been thawing since noon. So these are my thawed bread loaves and they're kind of sticking together.
So here's what I did. I thawed mine in the refrigerator overnight, and it was perfect for making the next day.
Okay, so I have one. I'm gonna set my other one off to the side. And again, I've never done it on like a surface like this, so I'm not quite sure. And you need to roll this to about 12 to 18 inches. So I normally, it looks like it should be okay. I normally kind of just spread it out as best I can for a little bit. And then I get my rolling pin out. And this is our makeshift cupboard.
Oh, is it working? It's not slipping.
No,
is it?
it's working good. We Velcroed it down. So I roll it out. Now it's not going to be a perfect rectangle, although I did recently see a picture of my dad. My mom took a picture of him a few years ago, and his was darn near a perfect rectangle. And I don't know how he did that. I don't know if he did it just for the picture, but don't worry about it being a perfect rectangle or even measuring it. The directions say a 12 by 18 inch rectangle, but I never measure.
I did it the other day, and I did it about 12 by 15.
So once I get it rolled out a little bit where it's not going
No flour on the board to keep it from sticking.
Yeah, it's not sticking, and I kind of will then pull it back, and now I kind of want it to stick. So I kind of gently pull it. You don't want to pull too hard because every once in a while you'll get holes in it. It'll start to get thin.
Yeah, if it gets too thin, that's not good either.
Yeah. It is sticking a little bit to the board, so I kind of pick that up. See, it's starting to break a little bit right there. But just kind of gently pull it to a rectangular shape.
Sometimes Bogey would put a little flour on his rolling pin, but rarely did he put any flour underneath it.
Yeah, no, we don't have a measure here, so we're not even going to worry about it. We're just going to pretend this.
Oh, I have one if you want to get one in the drawer behind you.
Oh, there is one?
No, over towards the back door, Sarah. And on the, see it on the left-hand corner, maybe? Nope, you don't see it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so we do have one. So let's see how good I did. I have, well, at about the widest point, it's like 18 and a half. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then I am at about 13. So just approximate. Now you're going to take this, which was our cheese, our Parmesan, and it was a half cup
Merry
of
Christmas,
cheese.
Brenda.
It was a half a cup of cheese, 2 tablespoons parsley, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon or a half to 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and then 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of garlic and black pepper. So when I was doing this all these years, I used my hands and I just kind of spread it out. Then I saw my dad using a spoon, and then I got a brilliant idea, why don't I just use a little spatula? So you're just going to spread this out. And the spatula works really good. Now, if we didn't add a little bit of water to it, it would be a thicker consistency and it would be harder to spread. So that's what thinning it out with a little bit of water kind of helps get a consistency that it's easier to spread. So that was like a brilliant idea that my mom gave us last year.
Oh, when I started to do it last year, Sarah said, no, that's not what the recipe says. That's not what I do. I said, well, too bad.
That's what we're doing. So, and it works super good. So, yeah, I like that. So now we are going to do the cheese. So now on here is 1 whole package of Swiss, 1 whole package.
That's actually a package and a half.
Okay,
sitting
so
there.
it's extra. I usually put 12 slices on. So, and we're going to do like a checkerboard pattern with our Swiss and our mozzarella. Normally I just do mozzarella. I have done pepper jack. We have done like Swiss and roast beef instead of pepperoni. So you could mix it up and do other flavors.
Tommy Schweitzer always used to put marinara sauce in it.
Yeah.
So when was the first time that we made this? Oh my goodness, the first time we made this was back in the 70s. And so yeah, it's been about 50 years.
So we have our 12 slices of cheese, and then we have our pepperoni. Now I know my brother gets the bigger pepperonis. Like sometimes he would get them.
Your dad would do that too.
They put less on, and I think my brother also uses the shredded cheese and just sprinkles it on. So I still do it this way. Now when you're doing the pepperoni, if you're using the Hormel package, just make sure you take out that little white thing that's in there, because you don't want to,
yeah.
that little packet, because you don't want to cook it with that in it. So yeah, having 2 people do this, one person to do your mixing, and one person to, do your spreading and laying this out, that works really slick, to have kind of tag team at it. Because then one person can be, spraying the pans, watching the oven, while the other person's doing, the assembly of them. So
Yeah, your dad always used the bigger pepperoni too, Sarah, but I couldn't find it, so.
Yeah. I think Dave used to get it at like Subway. He would contact Subway and see if they'd slice him a whole bunch of pepperoni. Because I know my brothers give it as gifts, and I'd give it as gifts too sometimes. Actually, I only make it once a year. I only make it at Christmas time. I make about 20 loaves. My kids usually ask me for loaves to give to their employers or as gifts. Give them to the neighbors. Sometimes I send them out, like I've sent them to Impression Obsession to thank them. So yeah, I usually make it once a year and give them out as gifts, save a couple for myself, and yeah.
How hot should we heat the oven?
Oh, 375, sorry. Heat the oven to 375.
Mine's at 350 tonight because my oven runs a little hot, so I know that.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm getting a new oven next year. Next year we'll be in a really fun kitchen.
So now we are just going to start rolling this. Now it's a little tricky.
Can you freeze them? Yes, you can.
Oh, yep, we freeze them definitely.
So when we would make this in Wisconsin in the dead of winter, we would make 50 to 90 loaves. And before we could get it all passed out, we had to have someplace to keep it frozen. And so we would put it in our car for a couple of reasons. I put it in the trunk of the car so that our son, who was going to grad school in Appleton, couldn't find it. Otherwise, he would come home and steal it. And then one year, we were going to London with our younger son, Dave, in April, and we threw the bags in the back of the car, and he went to get them out when we got to O'Hara, and he said, "What's this pepperoni bread doing in here?" So one loaf got left in the car, and of course we threw it out. But now he said, "Oh, now I know your hiding place."
So as you can see, I'm just kind of rolling this up, kind of nice and tight.
Your dad would kind of pull on it too, Sarah. Pull on that roll a little bit.
Well, it's kind of stuck to this board, so I can't really do that.
Okay, I'll show you what I mean.
Okay, but anyways, so now when I get to the end, I pull this one back up around. And I kind of seal that.
Is that oven on?
Well, the lights.
Open the door.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So anyways, now I take it, and this is the traditional way to do it. So I have like a log, and now I'm just going to roll it the other way.
Like a cinnamon roll.
Like a big cinnamon roll. That's exactly right.
Okay, now Sarah's going to crab at me because I'm going to have her do something that
I'm not going to do it.
Oh, okay.
They always smush it down.
Not a lot, just a little.
I don't like to smush mine down.
Okay.
So I'm not smushing mine. I like to keep mine nice and tall like that. And I just kind of go like that. But yeah, I don't smush mine. Mom smushes hers. I think Dave smushes his. I do not smush. And then you can use an 8-inch pan, a 9-inch pan, a pie pan, a cake pan, spray it. Or like we were going to do another one and we just have parchment paper in it. And that sits in there. Now we have our other egg. Now we're gonna whisk that. And how much water do you add, Mom? I never measure this part.
Just a splash. I don't measure it either.
Okay, so just a splash.
We're going to do an egg wash, so that's fine.
Oops,
Yeah.
that's probably too much. So yeah, this is just an egg wash.
There's a receiver over there to right above your, no.
No, I'm just going to
Okay.
grab a napkin. Okay, and now I don't know how you guys do it, but I just dump it over the top and I kind of just spread it out.
Oh, Sarah's doing such a great job. You can make mine anytime, Sarah.
Okay, so I didn't use all of my egg wash, and sometimes when I'm doing multiple loaves,
Okay.
okay, I'll use one egg wash for 2 loaves. But anyways, now I'm just sprinkling it with the Italian seasonings. And like I said, usually mine are green, but the ones that Mom found in the store were kind of a reddish color, so that's okay. It'll be pretty. So now this goes in your oven at normally 375. It depends on how many loaves you put in. Like I put in 2 or 3 loaves at a time, and I increased my time to like 45 minutes. I think it says 40 minutes. I increase it to 45 to 50 depending on how many loaves I put in. Now I know my mom and my brother both rotate theirs through the oven.
Yeah, I have 6 loaves in at a time.
Yeah, I don't like to think that much, so I put in 3, get them all cooked, pull them out, and then I put in 2 or 3 more.
Okay,
So
that works too. And I only, if I'm putting one in, I only bake it for 20 to 25 minutes.
really, I
Yes.
always bake mine for more.
Yeah. No.
When I'm using a glass, and I don't know if my mom, but sometimes I'll look underneath it to make sure it's cooked all the way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick this one in, and then we're gonna make one more.
Oh, look at, see that? We're ready to eat. We've got pepperoni bread cut back there, and we've got some espresso fudge. I'll give you a recipe for espresso fudge later.
So
That's
we're
really
gonna
simple.
go and we're gonna do it one more time, just in case we were going too fast for you. It's
Ham and cheese would work good, and Beth Whelan's Italian sausage would work. You can fill this with whatever you want to fill it with. It's kind of like a stromboli. We're going to make it like a stromboli this time. So yeah, you could use ham and cheese. That works fine, Robin.
So my mom did pre-mix up the spices. So again, just to go through that in case you're writing down, it is a 1/2 cup of Parmesan, 2 tablespoons of parsley flakes, a 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/8 to 1/4 of both black pepper and garlic.
Yes.
So, and my mom has that all pre-measured out. And then 1 egg. Winnie's down here.
Winnie's waiting for a treat.
Yeah, she's down here by my feet. She was licking something, so I must have spilled something at one point. Mix that up. And we have our spices that we're going to put in there. So when I'm card making, I can usually repeat things multiple times, just partials. This one you kind of can't do partials, so that's why I'm going to do a second one. I'm going to show you how I roll it out and how we bake it, and then we'll get to the final product. So
Sarah, how long do you bake one loaf? You probably don't even bake one loaf, do you?
I've never even baked one loaf. 2 loaves I know I bake for 40 minutes.
So 1 loaf I bake for 20 to 25 minutes. It depends upon how your oven is heating. I did it because I've never made pepperoni bread by myself before. So it was a new experience for me yesterday or the day before. I can't remember when I did it. And I made a loaf and then made a second loaf and then made a third loaf. But as I was making the second and third loaves, the first one was baking. So. And then Sarah popped in the middle of all that. She thought I was dead because I didn't answer my phone. She thought I was coming to her office that day, and I forgot to tell her that I wasn't. So Sarah popped in and And she promptly ate a bunch, and I ate a bunch, and it was good, wasn't it,
It
Sarah?
was good, yeah. Okay, so again, rolling out to 12 to 18 inches or smaller. So I roll a little bit, I pull a little bit.
Or if you have 3 men and a horse, you could all do it at one time around that loaf, so.
Be careful when you stretch it not to put a big hole in it, which has happened to me. I also, my youngest son that was here bringing us some Parmesan, he likes to come by and steal one of the corners because he just likes the dough. And I have to scold him because I'll get like a really nice rectangle, and then he'll come by and he'll steal a little bit and screw up my rectangle. Anyway, so we rolled that. Looks like about 12 to 18 inches.
Oh, we aren't going to measure.
We're not going to measure, no.
Did you add a little water to that?
I did add some water. See, it's a pretty good consistency.
Ooh, that's nice. That's a good-looking rectangle. Mine always look like a trapezoid. Yeah, Pauline, sometimes mine do too.
So
Now,
then,
whoever just said hi, Sarah and Sue, it looks delicious as always. We can't see all the names on here. Sometimes it just says Facebook user, so I don't know who you are, but thank you for joining us tonight in my makeshift kitchen. We're getting ready to tear out walls in this kitchen, and matter of fact, tear this whole condo apart, take it from a 2-bedroom to a 1-bedroom and a big great room and a new kitchen. So
all right, so we have that. And then again.
oh, hi Winnie. We just saw Winnie. She's right behind you.
Yeah, she is. There she is. Hi, Winifred.
She's waiting for a treat.
She
Merry
is
Christmas to you also. I just joined. Will I be able to watch a replay?
Yep, you can watch the replay. It's going to be saved here.
Wow, that will be nice. Thank you, Deb.
Now,
Eastwood.
for reheating this, you can certainly reheat the whole loaf. Like if you're not going to eat it right out of the oven. If I reheat a whole loaf, I keep it wrapped in the tin foil so it doesn't get too hard on the outsides. Or my family likes to cut it into pie-shaped pieces and then reheat it in the microwave. Just for about 30 to 45 seconds, depending on how big your piece is. Wrapped in a piece of paper towel. So that's how we normally reheat it. Now just make sure if you take that, pack it out, and throw it away. And you could use turkey pepperoni, or like we talked about, you could use a bunch of other different meats or combinations, or pepper jack cheese, or all Swiss. Roast beef and Swiss is good. We've done that once before. So yeah. But yeah, reheating is...
Jenny Bogenschutz, are you watching? I know you said so much for the family secret.
Yeah. All right. So we did this. So this one we're actually going to leave in the roll. And my dad made this for an appetizer for a wedding, or for one of the snacks. And so we left it in a roll and then he cut it. And that worked out super good also.
Yeah, we didn't want to have those big pie-shaped pieces, so.
And we'll show you one of those in a little bit. I'm going to roll that up and we'll get that one going in the oven. And then we have some done ones that my mom made the other day when she scared the heck out of me.
If you're going to freeze it, you bake it first? Yes.
Yes, bake it first and then freeze it. Usually after it's out of the oven, I wrap it in a piece of tin foil.
After it cools?
After it cools. And I actually don't even usually take it out of the pan too much until after it cools. I like to leave it in the pan. But you can take it out when it's still a little bit warm. It does fall a little bit, so okay. So we have that. Now we're going to roll it again. Now, last time, I didn't really explain what I was doing, but I kind of start on one end and squish it, and then I just start rolling it, and it will start to unroll.
I found that the hardest part to do by myself. But
Yeah, and then I kind of squish this end, and then I roll backwards.
see, thank you for teaching me that, Sarah. You,
And then I keep squishing my dough ends as I go. But yeah, it's that first couple rolls where it wants to unroll, and then I keep squishing my ends, and I just kind of go back and forth and keep squishing and keep squishing.
Emilio's got nothing over you, Sarah. Is that what his name? Oh, there are a bunch of cooks out there, chefs.
Yeah, I'll stick to my card making.
All right.
So you guys get a treat for now, but then I pull this up. And now this one, we are gonna cook just like this. So we are gonna turn it over and cook it just like this.
You're welcome, Deb. It is a great family tradition, and it's been going on in our family for over 40 years, so actually closer to 50. And when Bogey first did this in a log shape like this, and he did multiple rolls in that pan. That's a half sheet pan is what that is, a full sheet pan. And I think he did 4.
I think he did
5.
3. No, we tried 5 last year,
Yeah, 5
and
didn't work
they
too
didn't
good.
cook. So I think 3 in here separated gives enough room
Yep.
for them to cook. They got too smushed with 5 because we did try 5 last year, but he wasn't here to tell us what he did. So I would be comfortable doing 3 logs
Okay.
in the half sheet pan.
And you can separate them with that.
Oh yeah, you can separate them with the parchment paper.
Yeah.
So you could put pieces of parchment paper between them to separate them. There just has to be enough room because it's going to expand.
Yeah, mine, because there was only one, mine expanded a lot.
So our egg wash.
So, all right, now that you've seen that, Sarah, reach behind you and get that espresso fudge.
Oh.
All right, so there's some espresso fudge. And if you like coffee and you like chocolate, this is a great, easy recipe. It's 3 cups of, I use dark chocolate chips, and 1 cup, what whisk is called a spring fungus at our, that whisk is called a spring fungus at our house. Great for de-lumping heavy. Yeah, that sounds delicious. Anyway, 3 cups of dark chocolate chips, 1 can of sweet milk, sweet evaporated milk, and 2 tablespoons of butter, and you can melt that in a double boiler. And then, Sarah, if you grab that big pan back behind you, be careful because there's all kinds of stuff on top of it. And I spread it out in a pan like this, and sometimes I put nuts in it. This time I didn't. Sometimes I put what are those little red berries called? I can't remember what they are.
Pomegranate?
Pomegranate, yeah.
Cranberry?
Sometimes I put pomegranate on top. Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right.
Okay, so
Thanks.
there we have our fudge. And then this is what
A half of
a half of a loaf looks like. So this one my mom actually made the other day and cut. So this is what the log looks like, except it's like half of it. And this is what the loaf looks like
when it's rolled up like us.
when it's rolled up in a like a cinnamon roll. and then it normally pops out of there. But this one's been in here for a couple days.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
It's
so this
probably
one you
still
probably need
cold.
to use a spatula. But
Yep.
after it comes out of the oven, while it's still warm or after it's cooled, you should just be able to tip it
Yes.
over and it'll pop right out.
Yep.
And then I normally wrap it in tin foil and put a bow around it and give them out as a gift. Now I do normally print some little reheating instructions for people and saying that it's a family favorite. But yeah, that is our pepperoni bread. Family tradition. So we do have ones in the oven, but we're not going to stay online. We will try and get you the written recipe. Actually, I might assign that to my mom because she probably has it in her computer somewhere.
Because I printed that out for somebody at work the other day.
So anyways, thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. Wishing you a safe and happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Do you want to say hi, Mom?
Hey, whoops. Yeah, you.
Okay.
See if you can make it look like, okay, down a little bit. Hey, thanks for joining us. Look at all the lights we've got in the back. Yeah, it's been a great year. I hope your 2022 is wonderful, and I hope your Christmas is blessed. Thank you so much for joining us. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. Let's see.